December 4th. Okay, so if you want to do a little more, what is a level 2 remodel? Hello. Today we're going to talk about my favorite kind of remodels, the kind I do on my own home. Yesterday I mentioned that I like to think about the scale, the intensity of remodel you take on 3 levels. Number 1 being easy, DIY-able, buy something, do it in a weekend projects. Level 3 being big contractor-led rebuilds, transformative, exciting, but a little untouchable. And then in the middle, the Goldilocks effect, my favorite, and what I do in my own home, the level 2 remodel. And I think this is such a great way to think about home improvement. I find it to be really empowering. I come from a family who remodels. We have some DIY skill, and I like to craft and I like to think about design. But nothing that I've done in my own home is totally out of reach for any enthusiastic first-time home buyer with access to YouTube and some basic tools. When you have planned well, you can take on amazing things with a little bit of effort, with the borrowed energy of a couple of family members, and with enough time. You can really make a remodel, even a transformative one, very affordable. And it works well with someone who doesn't have the resources or the time right now to fully move out of their house and let it be torn down to the studs and built back up again. A level 2 remodel can be done in a fairly big aggressive push, or it can be spaced out as you have time, as you have budget, as you have enthusiasm, over the period of your entire lifetime in the house, and taking on one little tweak up at a time over the years that you live there will aggregate into a total home improvement, a total transformation, totally matching the house to what you want it to be. So when you think about improving a mid-century ranch, so many things are meant. I was talking on, I think, day 2 about how great these little houses are, and they were meant to be tweaked. They were meant to have homeowners build their own garage attached to the house. Many of the ranches in my neighborhood built in 1952 were built without garages, and then garages were added by the homeowner the next year or the year after that. Then people could put on an addition. And a lot of times these projects were totally homeowner-led. They might have an electrician come in and do some wiring for them, but they would get out there, do the framing, buy a Sears kit, add on themselves. And this is the sort of thing that we can still do now. I also consider it to be a level 2 remodel if you're asking individual subcontractors to come in 1 or 2 projects at a time. My sister and her husband are doing a lot of projects like that right now, where they're DIYing some of it, in many cases the framing elements and the demolition elements, and they're having a specialist come in to do the electrical wiring, to install a new mini split in the addition that doesn't have access to the house's heat, things like that. Things that they could probably take on themselves, but they're busy professionals and they don't have the time, or maybe the bravery, the craziness, let's call that how we will, to take on a project like that. They want a bonded, licensed, insured professional to do it, and that's great. But basically, when you plan a level 2 remodel, you can think about what is a slightly bolder move. It might mean opening up walls between spaces. It might even mean a small addition, but it's the sort of thing that you can take one step at a time and plan in your own way. The reason I love them... Yikes, I really do need to oil my chair. Sorry, everyone. The reason I love them for mid-century houses specifically is because when you do the work yourself, when you lead the work yourself, you're not going to fall into the trap of a well-meaning contractor making decisions on your behalf that don't end up aligning with the era of your home. And this happens way too often because the default for the construction industry is sort of a tipping point between sort of retro traditional, this is your mother's Home Depot kitchen, and then the modern sort of HGTV version. If they're trying to be a little more current, they'll probably end up shiplapping the hell out of your remodel without asking for your input. And so when you have a level 3, when you have a contractor-led remodel, you need to be really on top of the situation to make sure that choices aren't being made that take the house out of the era that you love. When you're DIYing, no matter how intensively, you're making the choices. You're choosing the finishes. You're picking the colors. You're making those decisions that will aggregate to a cohesive, beautiful remodel that ends up leaning into the mid-century era, perhaps even adding mid-century charm that your builder basic house didn't have when it was built. So I love a level 2 remodel because it gives you ultimate control. It takes a little longer, certainly, but it often costs a little less. So there's a plus minus there, and certainly it's the choice that I've made for myself. I love to see master plan clients come to me saying, we're going to be doing this ourselves, so we want some help to have a big picture vision and then to break it down into what are the bite-sized pieces that we can do this year, next year, the year after that. And it's really one of my favorite styles of master plan packages to do. So if you are a person who has done or is thinking of doing a level 2 remodel, give a shout in the comments, send me a DM. I'd love to encourage you today. And if you haven't done a single thing to your home yet, do you think a level 2 remodel might be what you want to take on? You might be surprised at what you're capable of. And I encourage you to think big thoughts and imagine what you could do yourself to tweak your house into alignment with the exact home that you wish you had.